Good evening, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Willingness Wednesday. I am your coach, Bvon Squires, and today we are sponsored by Spirit Source Connection. I am just so excited to be here to see everyone tonight. I have been thinking about you all week and just praying for you and just really hoping that last week's topic that we have embarked on for the four agreements. I was hoping that it resonated with you and that it gave you something to really consider because it really blew my mind. The domestication of us, through the society's dream and the belief system that was actually given to us that we had no choice over, that we had no, you know, no input on this belief system, not even the language that we speak. And so that was very powerful. And so today we're going to continue to move forward and talk about the first agreement and why it is so important to involve these new agreements in our lives, because they have the power to break the old agreements that we agreed with that causes us fear in our lives and causes total unmanageability in our thinking, our emotions, our behavior, our relationships. And we are wondering why. Well, it's because there is a belief that we have agreed to that doesn't agree with us. And so it's so important to go back and take a look at those beliefs. And that's why I'm here to help you to do that. And so, as we move forward, we're going to be talking about this first agreement called Be Impeccable with Your Word. And so, we're going to talk about what that actually means. I'm going to give you some examples of being impeccable with your word. And then as we end, I have a surprise for you. So I need you to stay with me the whole way so you can find out what the surprise is in the end. Okay? Okay. Okay, so if you are new, I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. You are so welcome here. This is a safe place. You come here each week and we talk about things that you are not necessarily going to talk about at dinner conversation. Here at Willingness Wednesday, sponsored by Spirit Source Connection, we talk about things that are going to develop you as the multidimensional spiritual being that you are. And so we talk about things that are going to help you understand your power. And today we're going to talk about the power of your words. Woo! And I tell you what, if you are returning, you know I cannot do this without you. So thank you so much. Thank you for continuing to show up. I am just so honored and so grateful that you allow me to speak to you each week. I'm just humbled to be your coach. Thank you for continuing to support me. Thank you. All right, guys, I guess let's just jump on in. We have so much information to talk about this evening. And so no further ado, I'm going to jump on in here because I don't really want to go over and make it too long. You know what I mean? And so we're going to just go ahead and get started. So the first agreement, be impeccable with your word. What is that, Coach? We're going to talk all about it. Don't you worry. So the first agreement is the most important one, and it's also the most difficult one to honor. It's so important to note that with just this first agreement alone, all right, you will be able to transcend the level of existence some call heaven on earth. Ooh, doesn't that sound lovely? Heaven on earth, just by incorporating this one agreement into your life. Be impeccable with your word. So let's go on and finish and see what else they're going to tell us, okay? So now, the first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. It sounds very simple, but it is extremely powerful. I tell you what, your word is the most powerful thing that you have. Your word is so powerful that it actually creates. Your word is the gift that comes directly from God. Listen to this. The Gospel of John in the Bible, speaking of the creation of the universe, says, in the beginning, there was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word is God. Just see that God created you in his image. And through his word, he created everything, right? And so, us being created in his image through our word, we also express our creative power. It is through the word that you manifest everything, regardless of the language that you speak. Your intent is what is manifested in your word. You ever heard that saying? It's not what you say, but how you say it. It's your intent. It's the energy that you're putting into that word that is going to actually manifest. Okay? So let's keep on listening here. So when you dream, what you feel, what you really are, will all be manifested through the word. Okay? Um, Sorry, guys. Okay, so the word is not just a sound or a written symbol. The word is a force, it is a power you have to express and communicate, to think and thereby create the events in your life. You can speak. How many other animals can speak? I mean, that you can actually understand anyway. I can say, speak to my dog and she barks, but I can't really understand what she's saying. We are the only animals that God has created that have the power to speak, that have the power to create. Okay? This is what we do with our words. See, our words can create the most beautiful dream, or our word can destroy everything around us. One edge of this double-edged sword called the word is the misuse of the word. This creates a living hell for us and everyone that is connected to us. The other edge of this sword is impeccability of the word, which will only create beauty, love, and heaven on earth. Depending upon how you use the word, you can set yourself free or you can be enslaved more than you can ever know. The word is so powerful that one word can change a life or a word can destroy millions of people. Listen to this if this sounds familiar, okay? Some years ago, there was a man, a tyrant, over in East Germany somewhere. He manipulated a whole country of the most intelligent minds only by the use of his words. His words convinced others to commit the most atrocious acts of violence. He activated people's fears and with around the whole world became a big explosion. There were killings and wars all around the world. All over the world, humans destroyed other humans because they were afraid of each other, right? And the reason they were afraid of each other is because of the poison that was being spewed from Hitler's mouth. His word was based on fear generated beliefs and agreements. And we will remember what he has done for centuries. And my heart goes out to anyone who has survived that, any member of anyone's family that has ever survived anything like that. My heart goes out to you, and I understand that it was wrong. Now, the human mind is like a fertile ground where seeds are continually being planted, right? Seeds are opinions, ideas, concepts, perceptions. You plant these seeds of thought and then they grow. So the word is like a seed, and the human mind is so fertile. But the only problem is that the seeds that we generally come to our minds are those seeds of fear, because every human mind is fertile for those types of seeds. And so we need to take a look at our minds, take a look at ourselves and see what kinds of seeds we're gravitating towards, right? What kind of thoughts and opinions are we feeding ourselves? Are we feeding ourselves positive seeds, or are we feeding ourselves negative, destructive seeds, right? So what is important to see is which kind of seed your mind is fertile for. What type of seeds are you going to gravitate towards? And if they're not the right kind, then we need to make your mind fertile for those seeds of love. Okay. Now we take an example of Hitler. We talked about all that. And even though those seeds were seeds of fear, did you see how brilliant and how strong the massive destruction was, not because it was a good thing, but what I'm trying to help you to see here is how important and how powerful our words are. Did you see the destruction that was caused just by his words? Can you only imagine the good that could have come from his words being so powerful? Had he had a different type of message, they could have gone to set everyone free. It could have gone to create humanity and harmony and all of those kinds of things through mankind, right? But no, it was the total opposite. I'm trying to explain how powerful your word is here. And so we need to be impeccable with our word. We need to be responsible with our word. We need to understand that our word is the difference between life and death in our words, okay? Every human is a magician, Don Miguel Ruiz says. Every human is a magician. We can either put a spell on someone with our word, or we can release a spell from someone with our word. Let me explain further. I thought this was just so amazing when I read this part, okay? So now listen to this. During our domestication, our parents and siblings gave their opinions about us without even thinking. They called us names, made fun of us, because maybe we weren't good swimmers, or maybe we weren't good spellers, or anything like that, right? But when someone gives their opinion, we don't have to agree with it. Because guess what? The moment we agree with what they say, we are now under the spell of their word. Let's say, for instance, and children, they can be so cruel. Let's say someone said, "Oh, she's so ugly." Ugh. And then someone said, "Yeah, she's ugly." And then the next thing you know, she starts believing that she's ugly. She could be the most beautiful girl in the class. And because they're jealous, because, they can't stand to see someone more beautiful than they think they are, then of course they want to say something negative and spew that poison into the mind of that little girl. And so, of course, if she doesn't have someone on the other end giving her all of that positive, good magic in her life, well, then all of these negative seeds that are being thrown her way, she believes them, she agrees with them, and then throughout her life, no matter how much someone tells her she's pretty, she will not believe it, right? That is the power of someone's word to cast that spell on another individual. Now, that same young lady, right, goes through her life feeling like, oh my goodness, less than, not sufficient, not enough, just not feeling good about herself, feeling ugly, she's got low self-esteem, all of those kinds. Now she starts acting out in ways that are promiscuous and things that are just not good for her. And so now we see that the words that were spoken to her were not impeccable, because look what the damage and destruction it caused her life. But remember, I said the word also has the power to free someone from that spell. And so let's say, for instance, the same young lady comes across someone and says, "Oh my God, you're beautiful. You are drop dead gorgeous." And she doesn't believe it, but they say, "Yes, you are. Look at you." They show her the mirror of her face and they point out the little beautiful things about her face, and then she believes it. And now she's free from that spell that was cast upon her as a child, right? From one of the other children. So we need to understand that there are so many things in our lives that we have agreed to that have caused us pain, that have caused us to destroy ourselves and our lives because we believed and agreed with the negative words that someone else was saying to us. So I want to help you to understand today that you can break free from that. And I'm going to show you how as we continue to move forward. Okay. All right. I hope you guys are getting as much out of this as I am. I'm just so excited about bringing this message to you. All right. So let's say, for instance, this is a good one here. Let's say, for instance, this is another example. Let's say, for instance, for some reason you believe you're stupid. Someone said you're so doggone stupid, and you believed it, right? Now, this one is really tricky, this particular agreement, because we can be very tricky, causing us to do things, right, that then prove to us, to ourselves, just how stupid we are. We begin to speak stupid, we begin to act stupid, we begin to hang around with people we think are stupid too, just because we feel that we are stupid, right? And so we tell ourselves, oh, I wish I was smart, but if I was so smart, I wouldn't have done that stupid thing. And so these are the kinds of things that we have to make sure that we free ourselves from. But I want to also help you understand that these agreements that have been made along the way were not your choice. These are things that we picked up as children. You know what I'm saying? But we still agreed to them, even though they were passed down to us, right? All the information, all the beliefs and things like that. Okay, so it says here, one day someone using their good words comes to you and says to you, you're not stupid. Now you believe what that person says and you make a new agreement, and as a result you don't feel stupid. That's just like something I was reading or listening to the other day on a YouTube. The guy, okay, there was this gentleman all through his life. Everybody told him how stupid he was. They labeled him as stupid. He went and took his SATs, right? So when he got his SATs back, they told him that he aced his SATs. Oh my gosh, he aced his SATs. Oh, how brilliant he is. Oh my goodness, he's a genius. He goes on to an Ivy League school, graduates top of his class. You know, everything just wonderful, wonderful. Then we find out that he failed his SAT. He should not ever have been admitted into the Ivy League class. But because he saw that he aced that SAT, it gave him something new to agree with. And based on that agreement, he just took off, his life took off, and he became a totally different person because he agreed with something other than the negative idea he had of himself, right? Oh my God, that is just so powerful. It's just so powerful. We have to be careful of the way we label each other, the way we label our children. Man, we're just casting spells on them that cause them not to think properly, not to see themselves in a way that actually shows that they are a multidimensional spiritual being. So how many times can you look back and see that maybe someone said something to you that you agreed with, and now you're able to see how it has been causing you harm throughout your life? I urge you today, I urge you to contact me so we can take a look at all of those agreements that you agreed with, so that we can dispel those agreements, make some new agreements, so that now you can live your life happy, joyous, and free, right? Under a new agreement. You can call me now if you want to. I hope you do. You can reach me at 317-721-4315, or you can email me at b.vonsquires@gmail.com. All right, we're going to keep it moving, guys, because there's still so much more to tell you about, okay? All right. Now, when you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you don't judge or blame yourself, right? From this point of view, the whole concept of sin and being mean to ourselves and causing ourselves harm is something less moral and religious and more of a commonsensical thing. Now, according to this author, sin begins with the rejection of ourselves. Self-rejection is the biggest sin that you can commit. In religious terms, self-rejection is a mortal sin, which leads to death. Impeccability, on the other hand, leads to life. Here's another example. If I get angry and I spew out all this emotional, negatively charged energy towards you, spewing all those poisonous seeds into you, guess what? you're not going to feel very good about me. You're not going to like me at all. And then you're going to spew those things right back to me. And so, how am I being impeccable with my word when in all actuality, I'm bringing that negativity back to myself? And so, if I can be impeccable with my word and speak only good to you, then you in turn will speak good back to me. If I appreciate you, you will appreciate me. If I insult you, you're going to insult me back. If I spit some negative words and poison to you, you're going to spit those negative words and poison back to me. And there's nothing impeccable about that. So, what I want you to know here is that if I have gratitude for you, you will have gratitude for me also. If I'm selfish with you, just the same thing, you're going to be selfish with me. Now, if you can be impeccable with your word, though, the correct use of this energy is when we use our energy in the direction of love and truth for ourselves. And so the way I feel about myself is going to determine how I treat you. Because if I feel good about me, I'm going to be impeccable with my word because I don't want anything coming back that's going to destroy who I am, who I say I am. But luckily for me and for you, if you are aware, my mind is conditioned for good, positive seeds. My mind is not conditioned and fertile for fear-based negative seeds. And so I want to help you with that as well. So I hope we get a chance to get together and work on this together. Okay, so if you made an agreement with yourself to be impeccable with your word, just with that intention alone, and the truth will manifest through you and clean all the emotional poison that exists within you. Making this agreement is difficult though, because see, we've learned to lie to ourselves. We've learned to lie to ourselves, number one, and tell ourselves that we're okay. We put on those masks because we fall short of that perfectionist. We fall short of that image of perfection that we have for ourselves based on society's dream that they gave us, the standard of perfection that was passed down to us, that is, we just cannot live up to it, right? And so when we fall short of that, we begin to lie to ourselves and lie to others because we want to be accepted, we want to fit in. And so that's the thing that we need to learn. First of all, is to start telling ourselves the truth, giving ourselves a break for not being perfect. Then we can stop calling ourselves fat. We can stop being mean and using these words against ourselves because we're falling short and now we're punishing us with our words. And so we don't want to be in a situation where we're using our own words against ourselves, because then in order to make ourselves feel better, we're going to take that negative energy and that poison and we're going to express that personal poison somewhere else. A lot of times this comes out in gossip. Oh my God, gossip. Now, of course, you're not a gossiper. I know you're not. I'm talking to the one that's sitting beside you, not you. But what I want you to understand is that even as children, we learn to gossip because we heard our parents and older people gossiping and talking about everybody. And, imagine that if someone came to bring you some gossip, that they were actually bringing a piece of poison to stick in your mind. How would you feel about listening to that? And then, with that same imagination for poisonous words, how would you feel taking that and spewing it out to someone else? And then they spewing it out to someone else. And then they spewing it out to someone else. And the next thing you know, everyone around us is full of negative, impactful words. And when none of us can think straight, because see, what happens is that gossip is like a virus. And so it just like clogs our mind. We can't see straight. We can't think appropriately. We can't behave correctly. Our relationships are suffering as a result, and our personal image suffers as well. And so we want to definitely be impeccable with our word, right? All right. The word is pure magic, the most powerful gift we have as humans, and we use it against ourselves. But we can get better with that. What we can do is we can practice this principle of being impeccable with our word. So I want to help you here now. Let's see. Now, how many times do we say mean things to ourselves? We get mad at our kids, and you look just like your father, you're no good father, things like that. We just really need to be careful about the words that we speak over someone else's life. And it's only because the same thing was done to us. People that were in charge, people that were bigger than us said things to us, that were detrimental and caused us to agree with them and set up that negative idea about ourselves, right? And so we need to forgive them because they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know that they were going to cause us a life of pain, a life of suffering by the things they said to us, the labels they put on us. They had no idea. And so we want to be able to forgive them. And we also want to be able to forgive ourselves for the words that we have said over other people's lives and ourselves. And then just move on and get better, right? Because, see, these types of spells are the most difficult to break. And the only thing that can break these types of spells is a new agreement. And those new agreements, those opportunities for new agreements don't come every day. We have to actually go looking for those opportunities to agree with new information, to agree with new words and then as we read them, as we speak them to ourselves, they begin to take root in our minds, and now they're going to outgrow those negative words that were actually put into our lives. Okay, and so as we learn more about being impeccable with our word, I want to just help you understand that the impeccability that we operate from is something that's going to seem a little difficult at first, but then as we get more used to it, it's going to come naturally. We'll start gravitating towards more of those positive seeds. Okay, and so we already talked about how we measure impeccability by our own self-love. By loving ourselves, we can love others, right? And so, as we're wrapping up here, I just want to leave you with this last thing. To be impeccable with your word is very powerful. Use the word in the correct way, right? Tell yourself how wonderful you are so that you can combat all those negative things that were told to you, all of those negative things that you agreed with. You have to be the one to break it. You cannot depend on another person to come and tell you the truth. You have to find your truth. And in the midst of finding your truth, you're going to become impeccable with your words. Okay? So tell yourself how great you are. Tell yourself how much you love yourself. Use the word to break all those teeny tiny little agreements that just make you suffer. Okay, so just this one agreement can change your whole life impeccably, right? Be impeccable about your word can lead you to personal freedom, huge success, and the abundance. It can take all away the fear and transform your life into joy and more love. Just imagine what you can create with impeccability of your word. And so, when I decided to embark on this course for us, I also ordered some intention cards, and I have one here for you. Actually, there's a box of them. I'm gonna put my glasses on really quickly here, okay? So there's a box of them. Can you see that? There's a box of these cards, and for each of the agreements there are 12 cards. See, there are 12 cards for each of the agreements. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of these and I'm going to share it with you as just to give you something to ride home with. Okay, just to give you something to make it through the week. And remember how impeccable you need to be with your word. Okay, so here we go. I don't know which one. I'm going to close my eyes and just pick one. Okay, here we go. Got it. It says, be impeccable with your word. Manifest your true intentions. Let's see what it says on the back. Regardless of what language you speak, your intent will manifest through the word. What you dream, what you feel, and what you really are all will be manifested through your impeccable word. Oh my goodness, how awesome is that? Now, so this week, I want you to be mindful of the words that you use. I want you to be mindful of the way you speak to yourself, first of all, because it all starts with us. And so I want you to actually do that exercise and tell yourself a few times this week that you love yourself. I want you to stand in the mirror without any makeup, just stand in the mirror. And I want you to just look at yourself. And I want you to say, Jackie, I love you. I want you to say, Karen, you're amazing. I want you to say, Tom, you rock. I want you to say anything that is going to help reverse those teeny tiny little agreements that you agreed with that don't serve you well, that don't serve you at all, actually. Okay, guys, I can talk and talk and talk, and I can, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. And I thank you so much for meeting me here. Next week, when we come back, I think we're going to be talking about don't take anything personally or something to that effect. I am going to send you out a reminder as I always do. And so you'll see the actual name of it, but I think it is, yeah, don't take anything personally is what our topic is going to be for next week. And I will look forward to seeing you again then. And in the meantime, I'm going to pray and I'm going to ask God to bless you so good. Bless you real good. Because you know what? You are faithful. Well done, my good and faithful servant, he says to you, right? So God has many blessings available and they're all, got your name on them. And so just trust and believe. Make sure that you're being impeccable with your words so that the things that you send out will come back to you and smack you real nice right upside the head with something wonderful and something impeccably beautiful. All right, guys, I love you so much and I'll look forward to seeing you again next week. I love you. Bye-bye.